What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast Live. Sorry about it being on a completely different night, but if you live in the South, you know what happened over the weekend. But without further ado, today we are here talking The Conquering Lion, and I am here with the creator, the writer of The Conquering Lion, Carlos Juzang. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I'm so sorry. But why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself to everybody?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlos Juzang. I'm with Abyssinian Media Group. I'm an artist, illustrator of The Conquering Lion, which I'm doing a Kickstarter campaign on, and just being educated on what one is Kickstarter as well as the exercise of doing raising coins for your projects, things like that.
Perfect. Perfect. So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about your book. Uh Tell us about your book.
Well, The Conquering Lion was a tale. At first, it has two different beginnings. First of all, it was a kind of a comic bookish, um, let's just say, African nationalist view of a character to start off with, and as well as the spiritual. And it got kind of cosmic in the sense that I had to stop it and redo it because it really had no cultural base, if you understand. It was more, more. It seemed like more induced by by other things. So I went and started to research on the East African and Central African cosmologies and discovered the cosmology of Tolorot and his cosmology, all the people that he had. And it would sound like a great story to introduce this character, as well as involve me trying to explain the spirit of Nyabingi. So in this and in fulfilling the character's mission, which is to save a planet from being industrialized and becoming a really totalitarian world, trying to go on to dominate others. This was their method of sending in an emissary to stop such and get them back on the path of spirit and love and unity and taking care of selves. So that's basically the small, let's just say, short version of what Conquering Lion is. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of questions and issues about it, but you know,
No, no, it sounds fascinating. Let's talk about the creation process a little bit of why you wanted to tell this story and putting the team together that helped you make this story come to life. Why did you want to tell this story, and why is a comic or a graphic novel the best way to tell the story?
I felt that a majority of the comics that I was seeing really was based on American culture, American or yeah, American. You go South or North America, American culture altogether, and nothing big. And the storylines were more Americanized version or a carbon copy of what has been done before. In the characterizations that I created and the story that I'm creating, I'm trying to show a method of using traditional characters, traditional uh, individuals, even stories, and involving them in comic book form, getting them just as much attention as the characters that belong to the house that you got a T-shirt of. Yes.
Right. Um, I'm actually kind of glad you brought this up because a lot of the media we do consume has a lot of Western or now East Asian influence. And
Yeah.
me, myself as an African American growing up, there was not a lot of media out there that was truly representative of the Black experience or even the African American experience without it being typecast and stereotyped to be about drugs and gangs and racism and this and that. So you wanting to bring more African roots into your graphic novel, that's like something I've been wanting to see
Um,
more of, and I'm happy that a lot of indie creators like yourself are really reaching down into that basket and pulling out our culture, like our lost heritage, if you want to say.
yeah, something just about what I was trying to achieve. More so, I'm not discounting or discrediting those that wish to tell stories about modern issues and problems that are going on. No, I really, that's something that down the road I'll probably get back into later. But right now, I felt that what was missing from the genre was the fantasy, the ability, and the fantasy that was based not on European stories, but on traditional African stories. Or if you can, we can go back to the different ethnic groups from Dogon to the Egyptians to actual. But I got mostly the area in Kenya and Central Africa. I forgot the name of the country, but and getting there, using them and telling stories with those characters, those traditional things, and then also maybe even bring back some of those traditions just because you've done a comic that brought this, the possibility that could happen. And I, right now, what we're going through in modern times and in the United States at this time, I feel it's either go for it or watch it die. That's the way. That's the way I see things are going. Either you're going to go for it and fight for it, or you're just going to sit here and watch it in your lifetime die. And a lot of things that's been fought over and people have died for is beginning. Like you're saying, you're beginning to see it just being eliminated. Um, but getting back to the comic, I'm hoping that with the Conquering Lion that I give it's more layer, pretty much layered tale because it using the traditions of them. I'm doing a cosmic space tale because the individuals are on a ship, a starship. At least the creators that created the Conquering Lion is on a starship that basically creates the universe.
Mm.
Right? It's you start when I start out with the first page. I don't know if you received any of the stuff, and I thought I was trying to download it so you could see it, but basically you start out the story, the first issue with you with the creation of the Conquering Lion, and his what is doing is parting nothingness and bringing the universe into creation through this ship that they board. That's all its purpose is doing. It's slowly moving into the through the nothingness and creating the universe. And thus you're in, and that's the only purpose that it's ever been doing. And what you're doing, we're getting into a story of one of its creation and how it's going wrong. So that's
No, that sounds perfect. I believe we can actually show the trailer from your Kickstarter, so
oh,
everyone can take a
okay.
look for themselves.
All right.
Ending soon on Kickstarter is the Abyssinia Media Group title, The Conquering Lion. The Conquering Lion is the story of SIMBA ANAYESHINDA, a god created by a celestial East African pantheon to lead a planet named Dunia into an age of faith, abundance, unity, and love. But first, he must cut out the deadly infection started long ago by YACUB MOSI, who now embodies the present-time antagonist named WAZUGU. a many-layered tale filled with gods, madmen, Atlantis, and a crib on the moon called JIONI GATE. When backing this project, supporters automatically get the 16-page introduction of The Conquering Lion, the Zero issue. It is brought to you by the creative team of writer and illustrator Charles Juzang, inker Aaron Beatty, colorist Damali Beatty, editor J.R. Scott, and lettering by AMG Font Crafters. Support The Conquering Lion and explore the digital adventure from Abyssinia Media Group.
Perfect. Now, I do want to ask, so you have a team working with you creating this story. What was the process like trying to find a team that can bring your vision to life?
That's been almost about a 5-year process, to be honest. The person, basically, I had myself and the inker, who is Aaron Beatty. We've been friends for quite some time, going on about 20 years now. And so I had already talked with him many times over, as creators do, about this project, and he was down with it. In fact, he's down with it before I changed it up, and he did a lot of inking before then, and now we're going to the phase of getting it into reality. I found a colorist. Her name was Damali Beatty. She was Aaron's daughter, and she basically colored the Zero issue that I'm offering on Kickstarter. She really defined the look of the project, which I was so happy. She just don't know how much I give her credit for that, because I have to give her credit, because when I had started, I was trying to figure out how it would look in color, because I'm really traditionally a lot of black and white artist, and color is not that I couldn't do it. I have done it before. It's just that it's time consuming for me, and I try to quickly turn out pages like that.
No, I get it. I get it.
So she defined that, and then when she had gotten busy, she had to give up the position. So I was on the search of finding a colorist, and that was I say about a year of going through a lot of different colorists, which were not satisfactory, until found Walt Barner, and he did very well. And in fact, had a few things that he has done and colored that's wonderful. I mean, I can't complain. In fact, I don't know if you're getting any of those pages or not, but
no, we're scrolling down the page as we're going along.
Oh, you scrolling down? Oh, you on there? What you call the
Kickstarter? Yeah, we're on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, you're on the Kickstarter page.
We are on the pledges section of your Kickstarter. Why don't you tell us about some of the benefits that your backers could get if they pledge to back your book?
Okay, well, great to say that now. Now, on the pledge sense, we have the dollar pledged with no reward. You have a $5 pledge, which you get the digital copy of The Conquering Lion #0. We have more than basic support, which you get both not only a printed version, but also the digital version of the Conquering Lion. Then we have the green for support. I call it Life Essence. And you get not only a digital copy, as well as a printed copy, but you also get a 11x17 color poster and a t-shirt. Then we go into $100 for gold support, which you would get the same as the above, the digital copies, the poster, the t-shirt. You also get a 1117 pencil poster of one of the pages. And also you get on a online, I'm doing basically my companies, you will be a part of a online group, which you have a subscription. These individuals get a 1-year subscription, where you get not only the digitalized version of our products, but also any animations or motion comics that we have got going on. And then there's also the $500, which again you get all the shirts, t-shirts, the poster, the digital and printed copy, as well as your online subscription, and a 11 by 17 poster, as well as a 22 by 17 inch poster. And then you got yes, and that's about it. Now the also the $1,000. That's right, $1,000, where you get both everything that's listed above, as well as a pencil printed post 7 by 17 poster, color poster, and t-shirts.
That sounds a lot of that sounds like a really good deal. Actually, I'm just being honest,
Yeah,
just for
I
myself.
I also have, if you want to add to your pledge, and this is for anybody that's doing any pledging from more than basic on up. If they want to add more, and they would get, one is for 50, add $55 more to your pledge, you get the $1,000 puzzle, thousand piece puzzle. If you add 65, you get a T-shirt. Well, a T-shirt looks like this.
Nice.
For head of 65. For 75, you get duffel bag, which and then if you add 80, then you get a book bag for
Okay.
conquering all, conquering lion marketing, franchise marketing.
Perfect. This looks really interesting and fascinating. I want to double back to something you said about when you was looking for your colorist, that you spent a year going through people and then you found the guy that you have working now. What was it about his art style that spoke out to you? Because I'm a visual person. I'm a visual artist type of
Okay.
person. So the colors on the Conquering Lion really pop and speak to me.
Thank you. And as I stated, because of Damali Beatty, she when I came out, the Conquering Lion Zero, by the way, it was just my version of it, of one, introducing people to the character, especially if I'm out in doing conventions. I would have an actual say catalog, or as a Zero mini comic, to show what it is, and so they can entice them to go and see it further online. And the whole idea behind that was for to attract more people on the personal level at that. But she defined the look of that particular comic and how it should look, and thus when she had to step away, I said, oh, who, how, oh. And then I was looking for somebody that was either up to that level that she had presented it or further on. And the person that I found was really up to the level and further as I asked. So, it's a bench. It was a process. Some people, you send in their samples, and I'm sure they did a lot of work on it, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I would have to reject it and not go for there.
Right. No, I get that. Now, this isn't your first book that you've worked on before, right?
No, I have another book called A Nubian Warrior, and that's definitely digital. I was going to make that my next Kickstarter, but I wanted to see how this would work first before I even decide to even go there with it. To get the actual issues printed. Right now, the first three issues are online and are at the my Etsy location for our sales. So you can go to my website, which is abyssiniamedia.net, and go to the marketplace, AMG Marketplace, and then you can go and order from there the ALA Nubian Warrior and See what you like. That particular one, the LA is more of still African centered. It's about a universe created by twin gods. It's basically I got it from Zulu culture. They believe that they had creation was created. The earth was created from twin gods. They decided they were just born into existence. The twins was fraternal, not frater- yeah fraternal yeah fraternal. One boy and a girl, and they made creation of the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything. And I use that as well as me experimenting with the how colors, mixing of colors, the printing colors. Wanted to do it, but I used each color as their ethnic group that they created. The two twins created, and when it's called the world that they created is called Nubia, and thus they decided to one day distribute their powers, just parts of their powers, to different parts of the land of Nubia, and thus that's where the different ethnic groups of Nubia, which I have. One of them you might see behind me, which is she is Ramafujo. She's Mahoman. They have the power. Their power is color blue, but it's mostly air. They have power of air. You have the ALA herself. He belongs to the Batodan tribe. They have the power. They were gifted the power of thunder. You have the Kush tribe, which mimics the Egyptian culture. They were gifted with the power of water, and to manipulate water, and it's green. Their color is green. And then you have the antagonist, which is Giza Mganga, which is the power of magenta, and they're mostly Earth. They're of Earth. Okay, so you got those type of, you know, yeah, you got that. Yes, that's printed. Those are the pages that were colored by Walt Barner for the first issue.
Nice, really nice.
Yeah, it's coming along pretty well.
Now, you mentioned that this is your first Kickstarter campaign, and you are thinking about doing the second one. What are some lessons that you have learned from running this campaign that you're going to take forward into your next one?
It may be a while I do the Kickstarter campaign my for ELA. I've learned a lot from Kickstarter in the sense that it's to me, and this is my personal opinion, it's not all it's made out to be. Um, and why I say that is because what it seemed to have happened with me was I was becoming inundated with a lot of spam. And spam meaning individuals that would, and then some would even false pledge large amounts. Okay, because my amount, though I'm still seeking pledge, my amount is very low, like just in the 120, I believe now. Now I've had that pledge go up to at least $10,000. Okay, but what had happened is the individuals would pledge this, then send an email to say that they have other ways to help boost my pledge and all that. Now, when you contact them, you find out they're basically trying to hustle other fees to using Kickstarter as a method of finding people to work with. And thus what I have heard from people that have experienced this is that things will go well until the last one, and then yes, in other words, you go on and pay them to help you boost your crowd, get more pledges and all that, and everything will look fine till the last day, and then all of a sudden it doesn't make it.
Mm.
But of course, they've asked you, and you had to have paid them. One individual was talking about at least $500.
Wow. Okay.
You see what I'm coming from?
Right.
So you've already invested $500 to help for them to help you boost your crowd, boost everything. But on the last day, if you don't make it, you know how Kickstarter works. If you don't make
Right.
all your pledge, everything goes back.
Right.
But what have you done individually? You shelled out your $500 to get all these pledges. So I found, I don't know what I did to attract, but at least I had at least 15 or 16 individuals do things like that. At least trying to do things like that, because I've never, once I'm on Kickstarter, I'm trying to get you to give money to me. Okay, I'm not trying to shell out anything for you. That was the first one. The other lesson is that if I were to do it again, I would have an advertising budget that I would personally direct who and what platform that I would run ads on. If you get my drift, it
Right.
is success with going through Instagram, Facebook, and using the ads to do that yourself. Okay, but getting the other people who they start out at, as I said, for their fees for doing it would have been $500. It's not really business wise to me. And you have, as an artist, as I don't know if you know, but I know my time is kind of finite. It's very limited. So I'm doing the things I'm doing, and I'm juggling 3 other jobs, so to speak, to make sure everything happens and goes the righteous way. So that's the other issue that probably that lesson learned is how much time I'm going to need for promoting of the Kickstarter as well as financing the Kickstarter, because
Right.
regardless of how easy, or really it was kind of easy getting the Kickstarter done. My issue was getting it approved. Seemed to take about at least a month, 2 months before it could get for somebody to see it
Mm.
to approve it. Because because I had gotten a lot of graphics, as you see, if you already have got things together like that, and I was like waiting, what's going on? I think I had emailed Kickstarter, the startup team, a few times before they told me that, okay, in a week you'll probably get it. We got you, no problem. Go from there. So that's another thing that has to that I learned from Kickstarter. But otherwise, I mean, I've seen and saw a lot of people have a lot of success on there. So I'm not really knocking the platform, but I'm just telling you what you can look out for, what how you should probably avoid it, and move forward.
I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Um, the internet is a very fickle place at times, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Especially if
we
you're
all
doing.
know. We all know. We see it, and then we're not getting political.
Well, and
Okay,
sometimes we get political, but like, and you said at the beginning of the show that so much that's going on in the country today is a mirror of some of the content that we consume. There were shows I was just watching earlier today that I was like, oh my god, this is just a social commentary on what's happening, but people don't seem to get that because Star Trek is not political, or this comic or Marvel is not supposed to be political, even though it all is. I actually want to ask you that question from my audience member, and I want to expand on it a little bit too. are there other ways to self-publish outside of Kickstarter, outside of GoFundMe and crowdfunding services? And have you thought about going the publisher route, looking for a studio or a backer, um, someone like a Marvel or Pop City Comics or whoever to back your comic, and you go that route?
Yeah, I thought about that, but for the level, if I was to go that level, I want to have more material out there and more material to work with, because then, see, when you start to get other publishers, then your creativity, your self creativity, your confidence in what you feel and know will work and won't work gets watered down.
Mm.
Okay, because basically, somebody's worried about their bottom line. Somebody's worried about whether their company might get offended by your work or your artwork or what you're saying. You have the other issue of whether or not, oh, it sells. Okay, if they feel it's not making that quota, whatever you have, put up, that's still the, you got to deal with that issue.
Mm.
And that basically means that I'm taking those type of hits myself, learning from those hits, and moving forward. Now, and in learning from the hits, I'm also developing and establishing a lot of content that I can decide yes, yes, no, maybe this one, maybe not that one. I'm not just stuck to one specific thing or one specific method, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes absolute perfect sense to me. I definitely get that. I do. Um, I want to ask you about your creation process. You are a penciler, you are an artist. What is your favorite part of your creation process?
Drawing, drawing basically. The favorite part is drawing. Usually when I'm drawing, I'm have my headphones on, I'm listening to Spotify or some other music. And I listen to different types of music, from reggae to house to Afro pop to a lot. It depends on my mood. Jazz, okay, with whatever I'm feeling that day, and start to create, and make something out of nothing.
Hmm. I like that answer. Because I used to draw, and that was my go-to, was listening to music and just zoning out into to what it was I was trying to create, or hell, just be honest. Sometimes drawing was therapy, and putting those emotions on page.
Okay, you took the words from my mouth. Okay, this all therapeutic. It keeps you centered in the sense where you can at least go into the world and not feel as frustrated or as upset about things or what you see as most others who really don't have that outlet.
Mm.
That's what I've noticed. It's done for me. Helps me. It's been a more of a therapeutic thing, and just trying to make sure I do something positive with it.
No, and I think you are. Creating comics is definitely probably one of the most positive things you could do as an outlet to channel that. Now, I do want to ask, like, just personally, how did you get into drawing? You didn't just pick up a pencil and paper and it's like, oh, I'm gonna just try this, and you were great at it.
I actually, the pen, I started as a very young individual when I think I was maybe 4 or 5. I'm kind of unsure what the time was, but at the time, my grandmom gave me well, what it was a scrapbook, but
Hmm.
I turned it into a illustration book. And then the first thing I was drawing was the actual, because it was a Disney scrapbook. So I was trying to draw Donald and Mickey inside and everything else. But that was the first thing. And then later on, doing, uh, it would come here later with drawings, but the major thing it came up was when we had a type of assignment to create a comic in the third grade, and then that's when I started really getting into it and dealing with it. And in fact, at that time, I think that's when John Stewart was created for DC. Okay, the Black Green Lantern. Yeah, yeah. So that inspired me too. I was like, okay, cool.
Perfect. Now, I love asking this next question to all comic book creators who come on the show, whether their background is in writing or in illustration. Since you are an artist and you like to draw, I like to ask you, in your opinion, when it comes to comics and graphic novels, what's more important? Is it the visual aspects of the comics, or is it the dialogue and the words, the writing that goes into creating those scenes, or is it a mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both, and it really depends on the subject matter of the comic or graphic novel, and what is it that you two or three are trying to get out of it. Okay, what is it? What is the whole total message that you want to get out of it? How can you express it in words? How can those words be also expressed visually?
Mm.
Okay, and not only with pens and inks, but in color. Okay, do you get the same mood or feelings when you look at this picture or these colors than you do the others? Do those colors give you that ending that you want? All right. And another is just graphically, how you present it graphically. How are you trying to present it or market it graphically? Uh, Really, like I said, everything is equal level to me. You just, and it takes a lot. Okay, if you do try to do it in and on the quick and in the fast, then it will show. All
No,
right,
that's
it will
true.
show. That's all they say. It will show.
That is very true. Um, who are some of your inspiration when it comes to being creative in the comic space, or even just in general? Who are some of your inspirations or motivations?
Okay, let's see. I go with my anchor, Aaron Beatty. I'll go with the good friends that I know in Philly, Kishinye Brown. Um, I'll go with Mashindo Kaumba. Those two were very influential in my life. Mashindo, when I first came to New York, I'm walking down Flatbush, and he's like, "Yo," trying to tell him his art, and he showed me. I was like, "Oh snap!" In fact, he was very influential in helping me to choose the direction of what I wanted to pursue with my art. Um, and let's see. Well, it's really a lot of people other than mom and dad, and my uncles and aunts. Yes, so those are I think would work, and then everyone else that I tried to express during this, who keeps me going, even uh, the people that I'm working with on the project. They're the ones also.
Perfect. Let's go back to the Conquering Lion for a moment. I do want to ask you, because it seems like you put a lot amount of time behind the scenes in researching the story. How much research went into creating the Conquering Lion from a storytelling point versus both written and visually?
Storytelling, it went into a lot of going into old tales. Like for one, we're starting with Conquering Lion Zero with the trial of YACUB, which I'm mixing in again a old black nationalist story about YACUB Mosi, the mad scientist, the big head scientist, and involving that in the story with the conquering lion, and trying to just, that was one, to involve and pull people in. Then the other is with the actual story of him and his involvement with his East African Pantheon. That was another hurdle that I went to involve to see if, how, and why it would mix together, and how it would show that it would mix together and work together, as well as, like I said, trying to keep it also culturally based. Um, Example is, well, this is just with this project, I'm more so just trying to work with stories that will take certain parts of the diaspora, stories within the diaspora, of the African diaspora, and make them work on a level that becomes a whole totally new and original story.
Now, I know the story and you intended for us, for people within the culture, but comics is for everybody. More than people who look like us might pick this up. And I want to ask, what are some takeaways that you want non-Black people who might come across your story? What are some messages you want them to take away from the story?
The message from this story would be more of what, not necessarily message, but more education of a different type of pantheons other than the Greek and the Roman, and I'd say that's those two. Was mostly pulled out and mostly given the high accolades to, but that there are other cultures that have just as much fantasy, spirituality, and drama in their stories as those type of pantheons that everybody sees to bring and make. What I say, it's been repeated so much that at my age I'm like, okay, here we go again. But true enough, they're dealing with the fact that it's a whole new generation that don't know anything about it, and going on again with that. But as I said, I would want to get a new generation that would want to bring an equal standing and equal level to draw from, as most folks draw from the Greek and Roman pantheon. Okay.
Right.
So they won't. That's not the only one that they would think. In fact, the people that I'm seeing now that's kind of pushing it forward is the East Indian crew. I'm noticing some of their stories, especially the traditional stories, even though you have to read it all during most of it. I really like and impressed how it's being portrayed and pushed in media, and made you to really enjoy and want to get more into what they do, what their gods are about. Okay, how close was this movie or fiction close to the actual mythology that was created about those characters, things like that.
Right. No, I think that is excellent, and you bring up a good point. Especially in this country, we are taught so much about the European heritage and European culture of ancient civilizations, and we know very little about Africa's sub-Saharan African gods and mythos and legends. And there's so many stories there that can be told. And there are other, like I said in the beginning of the show, there are other creators out there who are reaching into the African pot and pulling out amazing stories to tell. I just recently did an interview with TJ Sterling, who's doing a Musa line of Mali and telling the story of Masa Musa.
Yes. Now that's what it's just telling me, that what I've been doing is paying off, because somebody's finally doing things like that. Yeah, I would hope to see more like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be me doing it. Okay, but a lot more drawing all those ancient and in fact I did a coloring book, Africans of Antiquity, that really goes over a lot of the old African heroes and sheroes of old. So if anyone, that's a shameless plug, unfortunately, but if you go to my Etsy site and check out, or go to my website and then check out the AMG market, you'll get more on that and information about that. But yeah, those are things I wanted to bring back and start, and also more so who what I would like to also see more is what the Japanese been doing with manga and anime. Basically, now those two, if you did any research about those media, uh, those that type of media from Japan, they were more so artists trying to display or illustrate stories of their culture. Okay, of their culture either, and then it just broke off into all kinds of what it is today. But I would definitely like to see that happen, and it's been happening. Example, it's been happening, which someone don't know it, but I like that the movie. I've forgotten what the name of the movie, the animated movie of the love story that they had out by the same animators that did Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man.
K-pop Demon Hunters?
Huh? No.
Not that one? Okay.
No, this was a black love story that was animated. And
the Kid Cudi thing. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
I know what you're talking about.
Stuff like that. See, I'm wanting to see a lot more like that. Okay, it's coming out from us creators. Okay, that was a big, huge risk taking on that, and I don't know if it got the promotion or got the audience that it did, but I loved it. I love the animation for one, and the fact that it was a love story, and a love story from a male point of view. So, which you very seldom see. Any love stories are usually from the feminine point of view and things like that. But yeah, I enjoyed that part. So experimenting with storytelling that way, with storytelling and animation that way, that's basically what I'm trying to fight toward, or keep pushing forward, or give the message that this is where we should roll or start to roll.
Perfect. Perfect. That's awesome. That is so awesome. I'm gonna, since you kind of qualify in this classification of guess who I'll ask this question to. Like I mentioned, I have interviewed TJ Sterling and I've interviewed David Crownson, who's the creator of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. And one of my favorite questions to ask creators like yourself and them is, what other fictional, mythological, or real life Black character would you want someone, not necessarily yourself, but anyone, to do a story about, whether it's from African mythos, whether it's from African American culture, uh, real, fake, it doesn't matter. Is there a character you want seen immortalized in a comic and a story told?
Oh wow, that's a lot, and that is a lot to think of. And Reese, I really can't answer that.
Okay.
I really can't answer that because it's it's a lot. That's a lot to think about. A lot, and the only person I could think of to come to mind. Uh, oh yeah, okay. The old African leaders that probably the young Africans really only know about, and then certain ones they do. This life, for example, the life story of Haile Selassie, the life story of Kwame Nkrumah, the life story of all the folks of the African unity, the unified nation of Africans. You remember they came out, they all started, and it was all started in the 50s when I was born. That's what I would like to see. Okay, just like Homeboy's doing Mansa Musa, yeah, something more like that, and you get to understand the actual plight and issues that they were going through in the 50s and 60s, and then you'll notice how some are similar to what's going on now. All right.
Yes, it is so weird how history repeats itself, and yet nobody seems to learn from it. Not going to go down that rabbit hole today. But this has been great. Once again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for creating the Conquering Lion and giving us that representation out there that we need to see. Oh, that's what I wanted to get to. You mentioned you wanted to see more animations of certain of blackness, basically. And to that, I say we need more black animators and more black cartoonists. And
you got that. You got them. You got a lot of them. What you don't have is them being hired or having the financial backing to make
that part too.
Reality. Because it takes a lot to do animation. I'll try to get as much as I can in. It takes a lot. One is financial, and it's the time it takes to deal with it, as well as all the time for timing the voice, timing the actual animation, timing, making sure all crosses, all T's are crosses and I's are dotted from credit lines showing to titles going up. So that is already here, and quiet as it's kept, something I'm working on. But right now, I'm trying to get the actual product to work on done first.
Right.
Before I start to make sure I have it animated and in games and things like that. So all I can say is wish me luck and give that I do something quickly, and hopefully we'll see with the Kickstarter. We're trying, and go forward. That's all you can do is go forward.
Perfect. Perfect. I just gotta ask before we get out of here. After this campaign ends, what's next for you?
So this campaign basically kicks off me starting to go and being at actual conventions and selling product as well, because basically I had stopped surprisingly enough, I was doing it during the pandemic. I was out here selling comics and all that, where everybody was staying inside, and did very well. And then after the pandemic got over, I started to do other things and make sure bills are paid and all that. Even though during the pandemic, I didn't have that much of a problem either. I was one of the blessed persons that was working then. But more so now, I want to get into dealing with going to conventions and working that out.
Perfect. What conventions would you want to start back in vending at once you get everything together?
Well, right now, I'm seeing if doing more so the online conventions, because one convention I forgot was I forget the name of that convention that's starting next month. Well, basically, I already met. I wanted to do one of the black conventions that it was in. One was in Detroit, and I think another one was in Atlanta, but I've forgotten the names of those two conventions. But and then it was another online type of
Virtuous Con.
There you go. Yeah, that was one. That was the one. I'm supposed to be being a virtual vendor in that one. And then there's the Chem Fest. That's right. Chem Fest was another one because they have. Yes, yeah, eventually I want to enter into do their animation contest, and then I'll go from there. It's a few others, but I don't have the list. They say I should, I thank you because I know next time I'll be prepared for this question. Yes.
Well, no, that was just a fun kind of question because I'm a big con buff myself. So if you was gonna name a con, I was going to. I was like, I can't wait to see you there.
San Diego, I would say that, but San Diego is. I was blessed enough to attend a San Diego con, and this was this was really the last. When I attended, it was the last con that I could do what I did. I decided that I wanted to go to that con. I jumped in the car, went to it, got my ticket, went in and party. Okay, like everybody else. Okay, now after that year, that's when folks sell out in about 6. Okay, they put the tickets on sale in November. They sell out in December. So you can't get it. You're not getting into the convention at all. That takes place in July of next year. So that's what was going on with that. And I don't know if that's still like that these days.
It's much worse now. San Diego Comic-Con, the tickets will go on sale, and before you hit refresh on your page, they have sold out.
Yeah. See, that was after that first year. That's what happened. I think. Yeah, and this was way back anyway in 2004. Yeah, that I went. Like I said, we just decided I'm going to go to San Diego Con. I'll go there and just got my ticket, rolled in and rolled out. Like any other convention.
Right.
Yes, but not anymore.
No, definitely not anymore. But there are a ton of cons across the country.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I say too. Because the way things are set out now with that convention, I'm not. I mean, if I'm invited, yeah, but me just automatically, I'd rather go to another convention with not as many people.
Perfect. Now, if you're ever on the East Coast, I recommend to come out to Atlanta for MomoCon and DragonCon.
Yes,
sure
there you go.
To have
That's what I heard of DragonCon. Yes. What was the other one?
MomoCon.
Momo. Okay. All right.
MomoCon's more like anime based, but it's definitely one of the big 3 conventions in Atlanta that you have to come to, especially if you're an indie comic book artist. There's ASFE that's coming up in Atlanta in a couple of weeks, about 2 months. BlerdCon in DC. I'll definitely be there.
I've heard of that one. Yes.
BlerdCon, and then Atlanta Comic Con, which is basically a Black-run indie comic book convention, co-founded by Greg Burnham himself. So there's a lot of great conventions out there that you can go to market yourself and get back out there. And if you need some help, trust me, I'm somebody you need to know. But we are running out of time.
Yes.
Before we go, why don't you just let everybody know where they can find your book on Kickstarter, as well as your Etsy store and your website and all your other social medias?
Website is abyssiniamedia.net. Okay. Just if you see the tag on below here, okay, Abyssinia Media, just put those two together and put the .net and you can find it. That would direct you to all the, not only the news that's going on with my company and myself, but also where or links to purchase the book, ALA Nubian Warrior. This book was more so online. It won't be purchased to be printed. But mostly LA Nubian Warrior and my other things is Africans of Antiquity, a digital coloring book.
And I'm actually going to check that one out myself. Digital coloring book. That just sounds interesting. Plus a good lesson I need to learn. But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I wish you luck on your campaign. I hope you make your goal. And I hope people just check out The Conquering Lion because, like, again, the colors, the art style is all popping. It talks to me. And I'm sure there's so much more that's underneath the hood of the cover of the book that once we open it, we're just going to be hooked. So please go support the campaign. Go support the Kickstarter. Check out The Conquering Lion. But until then, this has been Mark. Check us out next Monday, February 2nd. We're doing Blerd Culture Explained. I have some very fun guests that will be on the show. And if you haven't, please go ahead and leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. And until then, peace.
Yeah. Be somebody tonight, yeah. I love it how you move it, how you wind it up. We can jump into it, we can line it up. We can stay slow with you, me. We can stay slow with you, me. Yeah. Be somebody tonight, doing that dance, digging that dance. I know you can be somebody tonight. Be somebody tonight. Pull up on me. We've got so much to see. Maybe I can show you now. Tear your top with the top down. Baby, I don't wanna hit the friend zone. Boy, like I'm in the end zone. When you're right back, I'm